So the Rangers are home. That's a good thing. They spend 18 of the first 25 games after the break at home, and that's an even better thing. Not only because they're good at home, but dang, they're bad on the road. Let's talk about all of it next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. Remember that last homestand when the Rangers were having so much fun? They were 8-1 on the homestand. They were celebrating. They were spilling water on each other. Yeah, it didn't happen a lot over the road trip, but that's okay. They're home again. And like I say, 18 out of 25 to start the second half of the season are at home. So we welcome you to our home. It's the DLLS Sports Studios. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast. Me, John Radigan. That's Jeff Wilson. We've got Ryan in there today. We're glad to have him and glad to have you hanging out with us today and talking baseball. Yankees come to town tonight, but the top story of this day is one of those sort of ones that everybody saw coming, Jeff, but it becomes official today. That is that Nathan Eovaldi is the American League Pitcher of the Month.
Yeah, that was a no-brainer.
Yeah, it really was.
Kind of like putting him on the All-Star team would have been, but
yeah,
apparently not. Anyway, yeah, what was it, 5-0, ERA under 1, and he won some big games. You know, he put him on their shoulders that finale against the Astros. When they needed there. Even coming on this last road trip, they lose the first two, but they turn it over to Evo against the Angels. And he wins that game. So very well-deserved honor. And, God, you look at his overall numbers. His ERA is down to, what, 1.48?
Yeah.
Jeez, 103 innings. I guess that's going to be the sticking point here. But let's say he logs 60 innings over the last 2 months and is still, hovering around 2 on the ERA front.
Right.
And the Rangers are in contention. God, that's Cy Young stuff, man.
It really is. And here's the numbers for the month, which are ridiculous, too. The batting average against under 200. The whips at 0.96. And, of course, you see the ERA 0.59. So a really amazing month for Nathan Eovaldi. And as I saw a really wise pundit post on Twitter today, imagine how good his numbers would be if he was in the All-Star game. And that was...
Oh, did I say that?
That was from Jeff Wilson. But anyway, the point is, the fact that he wasn't in the All-Star game is still mind-boggling and ridiculous, but, whatever. He didn't. He got the bonus anyway. The Rangers made good. None of that really mattered, and none of it will matter going forward, especially not if he continues to pitch like this. The thing you have to love about the way Nathan Eovaldi pitches is that he's just got so many options, Jeff. He can do so many different things that you don't know as an opposing team how he is going to attack you that day.
Right. And he just has so many pitches.
Right.
And 5 or 6, really. And he says, that he had his back was flared up, I think in 22 was last year with the Red Sox. And so he lost some juice on his fastball, and he had to, he learned then that he can pitch without his fastball, and because he has so many other pitches he can go to.
Right.
And you've seen him throwing his curveball here a couple times lately, and it's been a really good pitch. And I think it's because nobody expects it. So he just knows how to pitch.
That's it.
And yeah, if he's warming up and 2 of his 5 pitches aren't working, well, he's got 3 more that are gonna be pretty effective.
Yep. Yeah, so it's great. Congrats to Nathan. He, of course, will start this series against the Yankees. Tonight it's Patrick Corbin. and Evo will start tomorrow. But and we'll get more into the series against the Yankees coming up a little later on in the program. But the home record is really amazing, and maybe, Jeff, the only thing more amazing than the Rangers' home record is the home road split. So after an 8, and granted, the home record wasn't quite this good until they went 8-1, right? But an 8-1, homestand will help pad a home record. So the Rangers are now 14 games over 500 at home at 34-20. That's a .630 winning percentage, right on.
Yeah,
63% of the games they win at home. On the road, they have fallen to 23-34. That's a .404 winning percentage, and it is the largest disparity in Major League Baseball, and that's probably not surprising when you're that good at home and you're that bad on the road.
Well, and you got to win on the road, and they all know that, and it's just a matter of they did some good things, have done some good things on the road this year at a couple of different stretches.
Yeah.
And so it's in them, but and I don't understand why it's occurring, because it's a veteran team. Like a lot of young teams, it happens. They haven't been there before, or they're not used to the routine, or whatever it is. But this is a veteran team, and if you go back and think about it, their worst innings, if you will, have happened on the road.
Yeah,
the White Sox series, they had that terrible 6th inning. The
Tampa Bay series,
they had the 2 bad innings and back-to-back games. Really, they had 3 bad innings. One inning did them in each of those games, and then the Astros lost right before the All-Star break when Garcia, blew the lead in the extra innings. It's you can point to them,
right? And then you look at I think it was the middle game, the second game in Anaheim on this last trip.
Yeah,
just an abysmal defensive night, and then yesterday. And you know what? Even in that great Merrill Kelly game, and we forgot to bring this up, and sometimes you wonder, and he owned it, so good for him. But even he had some mental mistakes in there, right?
Yeah,
he threw to third base on a comebacker with 2 out, and I think he miscounted how many disengagements he had in the same half inning.
Yeah, we talked to him about that, of course, and he said he stepped off the rubber because he couldn't hear the voice comm, and that's what the Rangers bench was arguing. They thought that the disengagement was allowed because of the trouble with the communicating device, but that wasn't the case. But so he owned up to it, and then he said, the game kind of sped up on him from that point, which is interesting for a veteran guy.
Yeah, it really is.
And he just made a mistake. He threw the ball. Okay.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the Rangers won the game, or else, and then that run didn't score, or else I'm sure people would want to send Kelly back to Arizona. But otherwise, it was good. But they just seem to make these mistakes. Adolis Garcia not sliding yesterday.
Yeah.
That's a tough one right there. And I don't know if it's because it was on the road, or if he thought he was going to beat it because he saw the bobble and thought he had a chance to beat it standing up. Whatever. Even Bruce Bochy was not very pleased with that. So they got to clean those things up. Those are the little things that get them beat. And for whatever reason, they all seem to happen on the road.
Yeah, it is kind of strange in that regard. And amazingly, when Jeff mentioned a second ago that they've had some good stretches on the road, believe it or not, since the 7th of June, they're still over 500 on the road. And that speaks to how bad they were and how deeply below 500 they got. But since the 7th of June, I think they're now 15-13 on the road. This is something from the notes yesterday. I remember reading it going, are you kidding me? This team could be, 4 games over 500 on the road in that stretch,
Sure.
with a win. And even after that, I mean, even if they'd won yesterday, the road trip would have been 3-4. Would have been a losing road trip, and they would have been that many over 500. So yeah, and somebody in the chat just said all the losses have been in Anaheim and Seattle. Perhaps that's true. I think they're a 500 team. It says, except for the road trip games. You know,
well, they've lost
in Anaheim.
They've
and
lost
Seattle.
4 to Anaheim and
seven?
6
7
6 or 7
6 or 7.
No, they won. Well, 3 this time and 3 the last time.
Okay,
so
6. Okay.
Using my fingers to count here, guys. So that's 10. Yeah, so that,
Yeah.
they lost to the Astros. They've lost.
They did lose at least once in West Sacramento.
Yeah, they lost twice in West Sacramento. So, yeah. Clean it up against the division, boys. How about that?
Yeah.
A little rebuke.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So, anyway, they've absolutely got to be better. They've got to start right now or next road trip, but they get 9 days at home before they have to worry about the next road trip, and that starts with the Yankees tonight. Questions that we see already in the chat, one of which is also on my rundown here. Josh Jung, the Rangers are and we're going to have a whole segment on facing left-handed pitchers, not just in the near future, but how they've done against them coming up. But the Rangers, we know, are facing a steady diet of lefties. Josh Jung, especially since he came back, but really always, with a good right-handed bat, he's good against left-handed pitching, and they could dearly use him back, Jeff.
Yeah, that was kind of the thing last year when he was hurt and the Rangers were struggling against lefties. It's like, just wait till they get Josh Jung back, because in 23 he just murdered lefties, and you're right. You're going to get Max Fried, who's fantastic. Then you're going to get Carlos Rodon in the finale. He's pretty darn good. I don't know. I'm guessing the Phillies probably have Ranger Suarez ready to go against them over the weekend. But the point's well taken. They can't hit lefties, and it doesn't make a lot of sense because you have Simeon, you have Garcia. Garcia's numbers against lefties, he's hitting below 200 against lefties, which again, just doesn't compute.
No.
So Josh Jung would be a very welcome addition. He did work out Saturday while I was my last day in Seattle. I don't know if it was a workout, but he ran out in the outfield and took some grounders, and he came in. I asked if he was okay. He said, "I'm good." But the Rangers apparently don't see it that way. And so if they're going to make an IL move with him, they need to do it today. So you can backdate it as far as I think 3 days. Get it backdated, and maybe he'll only miss 7 going forward. Get Cody Freeman up, right-handed bat. Activate Jake Berger.
Yeah,
a lot of possibilities here to help combat those lefties, but your best hitter is a left-handed hitter, Corey Seager. Josh Smith isn't as good against lefties as he was last year, left-handed hitter, so that's why he's kind of in and out of the lineup against these lefties. You got to win ball games at this point. The good news is Jock Peterson's not going to bat. So today against
at least
Wednesday,
in 4 of the next 6 games,
so get him off the bench, out of the lineup. You got to win games, and I'm assuming this means Jonah Heim, who's better against lefties than righties, will be in the lineup. Although it's pretty interesting, and I'm sure Jonah doesn't care for this, but I believe Jock Peterson has a better on base percentage than Jonah. It's
really?
Very, very close. Yeah.
Than Jonah hitting from the left side?
Jonah overall.
Overall.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I noticed that in Seattle. I was like, is that legit? And it's
So Jonah, so the point there, because Jonah's certainly done more damage, average wise and all that. So, but he's not walking. He just he never walks.
It's he's batting 217, 262 on base percentage. And they made all these, I don't know if they made concessions, but they signed Kyle Higashioka to help, less of Jonah would be more of Jonah.
Yeah.
256 on base percentage for Jock. 126 batting average. Good Lord.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, it's Jonah's not having this great offensive season again, and so it makes you kind of wonder what he looks like going forward and what his future with the team is. Especially since Kyle Higashioka has really picked it up here the last 6 weeks.
Had a great month.
Yeah,
it's had a really great month. Yeah, 6 weeks, you're right. More coming up as we get into that left-handed pitching talk. The Rangers aren't good against them, I should say. We'll tell you who it is and what the numbers look like, and talk lefties next on the DLLS Rangers podcast.
We got some prize picks, man.
Yeah. Yep.
We have a new favorite daily picks partner, and it's Prize Picks. Prize Picks, probably the leader in the industry. No one's bigger, no one's better, and we really are glad to have him on. Met with him last week to talk over some bullet points. Fortunately, they made me flush with some more funds because I already started my own Prize Picks ahead of this meeting. I've been going and sampling it. It's easy to play. You pick more or less on 2 to 6 players, stat projections, and you win based on how you do. And with football season coming, the end of the baseball season, there's going to be a lot of opportunities to do this. So this is the call to action. Download the Prize Picks apps today. Use the code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. DLLS, $50 in lineups after you play your first $5.
Boy, that's great. I'll take 50 for 5 any day of the week.
Any day.
Yeah, that's like trading dollars for donuts. Is that what they used to say? 50s for 5s. I'll take it. And I'll also take anything that Nicole sends me from Game Time, because she will remind me about what's happening around this Metroplex in concert venues and, of course, in sporting venues, and even in some of the arts like the theater, which is one of the times I've used Game Time was to go to the theater. So you should get the Game Time app, and then Nicole will be sending you emails on the regular, so you'll know who's coming. And like the Los Lonely Boys, I noticed, are coming. So it's all there. And, of course, there's lots of sporting tickets you can buy. The Game Time app shows you where your seat will be. Use that Game Time app and get $20 off your first purchase with the code DLLS. All right, so lefties, we've known it for a long time. And it seems, Jeff, like a long, long time. Like, when have the Rangers been good against left-handed pitching? I can't remember. Some teams are good against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, and again, we just looking at the construction of the lineup. You have Marcus Semien, you have Adolis Garcia, Wyatt Langford, Josh Jung in theory, Jake Berger in theory. Both catchers bat from the right side of the plate, and yet it's just not happening. And I think looking forward long term, if Evan Carter figures out his back, hopefully he can figure out left-handed pitching, because he would be it'd be nice to not have a platoon out there in center field.
Yep.
Sam Haggerty has done better against lefties, so I'd expect him to be in the lineup tonight. It's just maddening, and they're trying to figure it out, doing the best they can, but they're batting 198 against left-handed pitching this season. It's just not good enough. And I'm sorry, who's doing that? That's Higashioka.
There's there are the team ranks against lefties this year. So it's a 220 average. That's 28th. And by the way, it's tied for 29th. I mean, there's 2 at 220, and then San Francisco, the Giants, are at 215.
Oh,
but anyway, 2 teams are there at 220. The on base is only 279. And the on-base plus slugging is only 628. 279 is the lowest in Major League Baseball, and then the 628 OPS is damn near as low as it goes. So it's just like, seriously, how can you be this bad against left-handed pitching?
Yeah, and that kind of takes us back to the trade deadline. The A's got rid of J.P. Sears. That's a win for the Rangers,
right?
Yep. And so it's not they're not losing to Randy Johnson and Sandy Koufax all the time. They're losing to
JP
pretty
Sears.
pedestrian left-handers. So it's any of them. My dad was left-handed. I don't know. Maybe
he could have
maybe old Bill Wilson would have some success.
Bill Wilson get Corey Seager out.
So it's mystifying. Kind of like the fact that they struggle against fastballs. I mean, if you are in the major leagues, you should be able to hit fastballs. And I think they're doing a little better than that this last year. But Jake Berger was acquired to hit lefties and to hit heaters. Kyle Higashioka, another right-handed bat. So there are just things that haven't come to fruition yet. And again, having Josh Jung hurt, if he does end up on the IL, that's not good.
No,
and it's not going to help going forward against these lefties.
Yeah, and so they've got Max Fried and Carlos Rodon, as we mentioned, and then against the Phillies, it'll be Christopher Sanchez and Jesus Luzardo over the weekend. Those are the Saturday-Sunday starters against the Phillies. So, again, just this
Friday TBA.
No, they've got there's a righty in there on Friday.
Right. Well, shoot, probably Zach Wheeler knowing the Rangers' luck.
Yeah, I think it might be. Yeah. So anyway,
Jesus Luzardo. Gosh, I think this is pre-pandemic. He was with the A's, this young promising pitcher that the A's had, and this granted it was a spring training game. He struck out 12 in 5 2/3 innings.
Wow.
12 Rangers. And no, the A lineup wasn't in there, but my God, come on, man.
Yeah, that's more than 2. If 5 2/3, that's more than 2 per inning.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. To watch.
Insane.
So
so
he's going to give him fits.
Yeah. So, but again, the Rangers, figured out they figured out how to win at home, right? Against right-handed or left-handed pitching.
Yeah.
So, didn't they face Sears in that last series?
They did,
and they swept the A's.
They won the game, but it was low scoring.
It was.
They faced Tarek Skubal in the last. That was their one loss,
right? And that was a winnable game. I mean, again, very low scoring.
Yeah. So you can stomach that one, but again, it's the ordinary guys,
right? It's the pedestrian left-hander that kind of drives you crazy.
Yeah.
And to your point, with all those right-handed bats in there, it's counterintuitive. It just doesn't even make sense.
Yeah, but and so that's where this offseason is going to be a big deal. What do you do to the roster construction? Because this is, this nice little stretch here. Let's give the Rangers offense July. They had a nice July.
Yeah, they had a great July.
They had a good month. Things have looked kind of rosy. They've scored. Had a good weekend in Seattle run-wise.
Yeah.
So the offense has turned the page, but it's still not clicking at the level that they thought. A big part of that is Jock Peterson. No question about it. But like I said, Berger still is yet to get on track. And Jung being injured, Heim struggling. So there's just, what do you do about this lineup? Because these are all guys who are under club control, They may be going into arbitration. Or, Adolis is going to his last year of arbitration.
Right.
And again, this is why it came up at the trade deadline. Even though he has seemed to have turned things around, he's seemed to also at times reverted back to his normal pitfalls, the sliders off the plate and the high fastballs. Great game yesterday.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
Maybe his best offensive game of the year, other than the brain cramp at the end there.
Yeah. So, what are they going to do to address these things? Do they have to trade or say goodbye to Adolis? I don't think they'd non-tender him, of course, but would they trade him? Would they tender him a contract and try to trade him after that? Because the non-tender deadline's before the winter meeting. So tender him a contract. Obviously, it's arbitration, so the arbitration deadline falls in mid-January. So the acquiring team would be able to work that out. Maybe they work it out and get a good deal and trade him anyway. But I just wonder if this lineup gets a little bit of an overhaul.
Yeah,
in next season.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk that around the team, executives and so forth right now, that it needs that. They recognize it, realize that there was only so much they could do at the trade deadline, but we know what they need, and we know that I don't know if we know, but we can sense the way the game is going, right? It seems to be trending back toward playing baseball and not just mashing the ball out of the ballpark,
Yeah.
And right now the Rangers don't have a lot of the guys who are, I mean, it's like in that situation when you need a bunt, and like those extra inning situations in particular. And the Rangers send 4 or 5 straight guys to the plate. And if you get any, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 up first in the 10th inning, none of them are bunting.
No, and now on the road you want to play for a bigger inning. I understand that, but excuse me, I got some crud in my
frog
throat.
In your throat, yeah.
The other day Zeke Duran pinch hits, and he actually did his job. I think it was Friday. He hit a ground ball up the middle and moved the runner to third, and then I think Himes struck out, and maybe it was Josh Smith grounded out. But the point is, none of these guys can bunt. Like Alejandro Osuna needs to be able to put down a bunt.
Yes, he does.
Okay. Sam Haggerty can bunt.
Yep.
Jonah Heim has put down a couple nice bunts.
Yep.
And maybe that's what happens with him going forward in those situations. Although, again, he does seem to have that clutch gene, but maybe in the 6th inning the Rangers can play for a run or something like that.
Right. Sure.
But with this team when it's at its best, if you go back to the Saturday win, all right, Higashioka hit the 2-run homer. Awesome. They don't score again until the 10th when they get, the free runner. A little blooper by Higashioka gets the run home. And they get the bases loaded. Ground ball up the middle. Hey.
Okay.
Take that.
Yeah.
Scored a run. 11th inning. A single to right field. 2 singles to right field. One by Langford. One by Duran that sawed his, broke his bat into 1,000 pieces. That's the stuff when this team's at its best.
Right.
You just don't see it enough.
No, not nearly enough. And that's the kind of guy they need. More of that type player is what they'll do as they try to retool this offense a little bit. The reality is, there probably wasn't that one bat out there at the deadline that was just going to sort of right all that's wrong with this offense. That said, it would have been nice to see them get one more guy who you feel good about. But really, again, after the July that this offense had, it wasn't, and we were still in July when the trade deadline hit. It didn't seem, like as desperate. They seemed to have found traction, and it wasn't, just for a series or a homestand.
Yeah, and so, and I think maybe it was the spin afterward after the deadline, but Chris Young again made the point. We're at our best. Our best offensive additions are going to be internal improvements. Yep. Problem is, he's been saying that for most of the past 2 seasons.
Sure.
So I think that he's going to realize, we probably ought to. Probably ought to do something about it here in the offseason.
Yeah, as good as these internal additions could be, they haven't been. So
100%.
we need to make sure that we have guys in position, in place, who can, again, help us have better than a 220 batting average against left-handed pitchers. When you've got a predominantly, some of your best hitters on the team are right-handed hitters exclusively. So doesn't make sense. Rangers will keep working on it. They do have, like we say, left-handed pitching facing them in 4 of the next 6 games. So fingers crossed, and let's see how they do. Coming up next, it is a big anniversary day, and we will remind you what happened 32 years ago today as we continue with the DLLS Rangers podcast. But first, we have to remind you that in November, you could go with our crew to Las Vegas to hang out with the Cowboys. The Cowboys are making a big trip to Las Vegas in November when the team plays the Raiders for the first time in Vegas, and you could be joining our Cowboys crew who will be out there for 4 or 5 days. You can hang out with them like Jeff has reminded you. There will be a part of that trip will be to hang out at the sports book on Saturday. Big college football day.
Yeah.
So much going on. It's a fun way, a place to spend a college football Saturday as a sports book in Las Vegas. So anyway, make sure that you have the opportunity to do that. TrueFanTravel.com is who is putting our trip together. And it's an all-inclusive trip. And if you're a diehard, you saw the diehard reminder there. If you're a diehard, you get 20% off that trip. So make sure you go to Vegas with our guys.
Yeah, and if you're going to go and be part of the big party, got to take some gear with you.
Sure.
You'll see this next segment. If you look at John's chest, we got some pretty good Ranger stuff out there. And you go to store.allcitynetwork.com. That's our catalog, if you will, for all of the teams we cover. Even some that we aren't covering yet, at least not full time. The Ranger stuff, though, I don't have that one yet.
No,
but I have a lot of other ones, sweatshirts. I'm still waiting for the hats. I guess there's like 10-month lead time on the hats.
Wow,
apparently.
It's amazing.
It's hard to come up with the right hat, I've been told. But it's such a unique way to show your support for a team because you can't get these shirts at the Rangers team shop.
Nope.
But you can get them at store.allcitynetwork.com.
We encourage you to do so. And so this one, as I showed during the break, is the commemorative T-shirt from 32 years ago this day. It was a night game when Robin Ventura made the ill-advised decision to charge the mound after being plunked by Nolan Ryan. And when you get done watching the show, flip over to your Twitter feed, and I think you'll find the essay that I wrote and we have produced with the help of the great Tanner. We've got an essay out there that relives that whole day and why, and that whole decision by Robin Ventura. And it'll tell you, re-explain why Robin Ventura should have known better than to charge Big Tex. But it is pretty amazing when I just kind of dove back into the details to write, Jeff, a 26-year-old charges a 46-year-old. I mean, it's just like, if you're Nolan, you want to stand there and go, what, are you going to come out and beat up an old guy? You know? But Nolan didn't do that. He did just the opposite. He went to bulldogging.
Yeah, I remember that. And I think I was about to, the timeline. I was about 2 weeks from leaving the Denver area for TCU.
Okay.
And of course, our only real discourse at the time was ESPN or the local newspaper if they were fortunate enough we were fortunate enough for them to put a national story in there. And this is pre-Rockies too. So,
sure. Baseball wasn't the biggest player there. Yeah.
I remember it very well. And, there's some people who think that it wasn't as one-sided as it looked and all this stuff. And that's a load of crap.
Yeah, go look at it again. Go look at the essay.
You don't get hit in the head 7, 8, 9 times and win the fight. It just doesn't happen.
No.
And of course, I enjoy. Bo Jackson was on that team, and so Nolan will tell the story. They're picking him up off the pile, and he gets yanked up, and it's Bo Jackson. He's like, "All right, I'm good." He wasn't going to go any further with that one.
Yeah.
But it was something that had been brewing for a few weeks because the Rangers had played at Chicago, and Nolan had hit somebody there. Nolan did that. I mean, he was old school, and he I don't know if remember if it was retribution or not, but it had been discussed by the White Sox that in the next series they were going to get Nolan Ryan.
Yeah,
and lo and behold, it was Robin Ventura, great college player at Oklahoma State, and a decent pro, no question about it.
Yeah.
But man, I think they should have left it up to Bo.
Yeah.
But I don't know if Nolan would have hit Bo.
And Leon's got it in there, and you got to go look at the other thing, the essay that I wrote, because it was Winfield. There's two. So Nolan hit 159 batters in his career.
Oh, wow.
2 charged the mound. One was Dave Winfield, and the other was Robin Ventura. Yeah, and Winfield's came way back in the late 70s or early 80s or something, and it makes sense, doesn't it? Dave was a 3-sport athlete and all that stuff, and you're not going to play. So anyway, he runs out to the mound. Nolan's waiting for him, and Winfield has this huge, wide right cross that misses. And then everybody got between him, and it went really no further. But after the game, media interviews Nolan, and he says, basically, I realize that guy's coming out and he means business. I'm never going to let that happen again. I didn't approach that quite right. And next time somebody comes out there, I'm going to let them know, okay, if you're coming out, I know what you're coming for, and I'm going to take care of you.
Yeah.
And I'm paraphrasing. I don't know what his exact words were.
It was good. I liked it. I liked your paraphrasing.
Little paraphrase. So
with the accent, even.
Yeah. So anyway, next thing you know, here comes Robin Ventura, and it was many, many years later. But Nolan hadn't forgotten, and so he went after him. And anyway, there were just the two, and there's a video reminder of each in the video essay. So go check it out, and you'll want to get this shirt. It's such a fun way to remember what Nolan did, because again, maybe Jeff, and this is somewhat you can make the argument that is one of the biggest memories. It's got to be a top 5 memory in old Arlington Stadium.
Yeah, I think he had one of his no-hitters there. He had his 5,000th strikeout there.
Yeah.
His 300th win came on the road.
In Milwaukee, yeah.
All right, so there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
And then, all the, they didn't make the playoffs at all in the old ballpark.
No.
So
maybe something with Billy Martin might rank up there. I don't know. You got a couple of really great, the Buddy Bells and the Jeff Burrows of the world, you know, early in their career. But yeah, I mean, 3 of the 5 in the top 5, but again, the Ventura thing might just rank as number 1.
It could.
I don't know.
Not a lot of memories there.
If we did a vote,
maybe David Clyde. That first start.
Yeah, it's a big one. Yeah,
But and tells you the state of Rangers baseball for all those years.
Unfortunately, it does. I remember the night well. I was actually working at Channel 5, and I was anchoring the news, the sports that night. And I went to the news producer, and I said, okay, this just happened in the Ranger game just down the street. I think we need to lead the newscast with Nolan Ryan. It's a young producer, and they're like, no. We don't lead the newscast with, a sports story like that. No, we're not going to lead. And I said, put me in the A block at least. I mean, this is huge. It's a 46-year-old man punching up on a 26-year-old guy. And I think maybe I won that one, and we ended up at the end of the A block with just a quick little, hey, coming up in sports, you won't believe what Nolan Ryan did tonight, blah, blah, blah. And then Channel 8, we got off of course, we always watched all the other channels at the time, and we got off the news, and lo and behold, Channel 8 led with Nolan Ryan punching. And in those days, Channel 8 was, far and away number 1. And I just kind of went, I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. So anyway, Ryan.
Who do you rank better, Bautista, Odor, or Ventura versus Nolan?
Oh yeah, so the Bautista Odor thing, or the Robin Ventura Nolan Ryan. I truly think that Rougned Odor threw the best one punch in the history of baseball. Really, the one punch, and to have a guy much larger than him and his glasses flying off his head and flying through the air, his hat flying, that was amazing. But I also think this was not just Nolan Ryan. This is Big Tex
Right.
You know,
right.
I think it was a 46-year-old guy beating up on a 26-year-old guy. So I think that one's a little bit more memorable for Ranger fans. But again, Rugi earned hero status. There's no doubt.
100%. And you know, because Batista, of course, had hit the home run in the postseason. And
then the bat flip.
And the bat flip. And it didn't go over real well with the Rangers at the time or their fans. And it was in Game 5 and all that jazz. So there were a lot of reasons for people to. It was fresh. It had been gurgling under the surface, and the Rangers had been to Toronto already that season, and didn't do it there. They'd played 2 games and
did it in the finale.
And did it in the finale, and that's what pissed off a lot of. That's what the Blue Jays people's like. You're going to wait until we can't retaliate.
Because it was late in the game. Wasn't it?
It was like the 8th inning.
Matt Bush.
Matt Bush threw the pitch.
Matt Bush had just Matt Bush had just gotten out of the clink.
Here we go, rookie fresh out of prison. Go in there and let's see what you got.
Matt Bush is like, I've seen worse fights than this. I've been in the big house. So anyway, so that's quite a memory of that day from 32 years ago today. And we encourage you to go to store.allcity network, as Jeff was mentioning in the last break, and get this shirt or any of the other ones. But this one's kind of cool. It's a pretty cool conversation piece. The other thing I wanted to mention in this segment, Jeff, we talked about it a little bit upstairs today, but the tickets for the Grand Prix of Arlington have gone on sale. And this is there's loose affiliation here with the Rangers, yes?
Yeah, in the entertainment district, the course is going to go around all the stadiums. It's in March during spring training, so won't have any game traffic repercussions. But IndyCar racing, open wheel racing is a lot different than NASCAR and the stock cars. And really, the IRL, when it started, the Indy Racing League, was strictly ovals.
Right.
And some of their best races were at Texas Motor Speedway. They're not at TMS anymore, so they're coming into Arlington for a road course. And with the popularity of F1, even though they come to Texas down in Austin, they're not in the United States, but maybe 2 races a year. This is a good chance for people to see a different brand of racing, and it should be fun, And it's going to be a cool course. It's like if they were going to if there was an IRL video game, it'd be awesome because you'd get to see your team's favorite stadiums in this this video game. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know where I'll be, if I'll be in Arizona or if I'll be here for the race, but those cars handle so well. They get up to speed so quickly. It's just a different form of racing that. Again, I would encourage people to go watch.
Yeah, and it'll beg the question if those cars will go as fast down division as I do. I mean, because I'll fly down division on you, but no, and I don't know if division will be a part of it. But
I don't think it is.
It's all that area though, right there, like Jeff said, between Choctaw and of course Globe Life Field and AT&T and the National Medal of Honor Museum and stuff. And open wheel racing is a very different animal and very cool on the streets. One of the very first events I ever covered as a broadcaster in Flint, Michigan, we went down and covered the Grand Prix of Detroit.
Oh, yeah.
And in those days, it was F1.
Yeah.
They ran
really?
through the streets of Detroit, and Ayrton Senna and all those guys were there, and bitching, by the way. Bitching about the bumps and the potholes and Detroit streets and the manhole covers, but it was pretty cool. It's a pretty neat experience to watch.
It is, and there's no bumping. If you bump, you're pretty much crashing and no coming back.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more. I'd say a lot more skill. Not that NASCAR drivers aren't skilled, but it's just a different kind of racing altogether, and to do it in Arlington around Globe Life Field and the old Globe Life Park, AmeriQuest Field, Rangers Ballpark in Arlington.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Even the other, I think it'll go on the edges of the football stadium.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's going to be fun.
Yeah. All right. So there's that. Watch for those tickets. They're on sale starting today, and we'll be keeping you updated on how the progress is going on that thing. All right. Coming up next, let's get to our cleanup segment. Lots to talk about over the weekend. A busy weekend in baseball, as they all are. We'll talk about it next. It's the DLLS Rangers podcast.
Hey, John, I need it. Ryan, John's going to do all the ads. I need to step off the set real quick.
All right, off Jeff goes, and here I go, because it is time to talk about you becoming a diehard. We showed it to you in the last segment, and we want you to realize being a diehard is so wise. There's so many things that you can get, glean, gather from being a diehard. Scan that QR code, if you would, and join our ranks as one of the people who is with us. You're either for us or you're against us. So be with us, be for us. It's only $79.99. I just paid the bill for my newspaper subscription. It's a heck of a lot more than that, like damn near 10 times that. So please, this is a great opportunity for you to get coverage from great writers who have been in this market for as long or longer than most of those people that you read at the other paper. Jeff and Clarence in particular, been here covering their teams for decades and decades. So, and then, as we mentioned, you get 20% off any and all of the events that we are going to do. We were just talking with our sales crew upstairs about the possibilities of having a sponsor to take care of us for a spring training trip. We want you to be a part of that. We also mentioned earlier in the show that there is already a trip to Las Vegas with the Cowboys, and 20% off is a pretty significant savings there too. You probably make your money right back on that 20% off that ticket price, and the next thing you know, you've gotten the thing for free. So go to go to alldlls.com, alldlls.com/join, and you can become a diehard, or simply scan that QR code that's on the screen if you're watching on YouTube as of right now. Okay, time to clean things up, and what a weekend it was for the Milwaukee Brewers. First of all, the Brewers are the hottest team in baseball, bar none. They are going crazy right now, and, kind of cool, kind of good for them, man. That's an organization that's, just not had that kind of success, this kind of success. So it's pretty cool that the Brewers, I love it. And also they're a small market team. I love it when a small market team and a team like this can have great success. But the weekend against the Washington Nationals, the Brewers set a franchise record with 56 hits. 56 hits in a weekend series. It eclipses the old record of 52 hits in a three-game series by the Brewers. That one set back in 1999. This one, the 56 hits, was, of course, set this weekend against the Washington Nationals. And they, they had 16 in one game. They had runs. They had 14 runs in the other game. And then very, very disappointing run output performance in the third game, just 8. So they scored only 38 runs, Jeff, but 56 hits and 38 runs in a weekend series for the Brewers. They're unbelievable.
That's pretty crazy, and we talk about the Rangers' upcoming schedule and how it's difficult. They got 3 against the Brewers coming up in September.
They do.
And that's part of it. I mean, that's a tough stretch, and the last time the Brewers were here, it was in 23, and they ended up sweeping the Rangers.
Yep.
So that's a good club. They figure out a way to do it. A lot of it's their manager. They don't have a ton of money. They're the Rays of the National League.
They are. They are. And again, but the Rays, it feels like the Rays, at least recently, have had more postseason success than the Brewers have.
Yeah.
And you got to go back a long way to find Brewers, the 80s, I guess, to find Brewers teams that have had big success in the postseason.
Yeah, and they almost had the Mets last year.
Yeah.
And Pete Alonso hit the home run off of Williams. So that's something that maybe you can change, but they really don't have any superstar players. the guys who can get hot, like Corey Seager in the postseason,
right,
and Freddie Freeman in the World Series, and carry you. Yelich is a nice player. They hope Jackson Churio is that guy, but they don't have the stud that's just gonna put you on his shoulders offensively.
No, it's pretty amazing. So they're the hottest team in baseball right now. They're the number one ranked, in the power rankings, and they had a 56 hit weekend. We mentioned yesterday that the Marlins actually swept the Yankees. We were keeping a close eye on that because the Yankees are coming into town and all that. So they do come in limping just a little bit, and you hope that doesn't mean they're pissed. You hope it, maybe they just stay down. They're depressed and downtrodden. But the reality is, one other note that we didn't have yesterday, I didn't know this or realize it, but one other note is that the Marlins, with the sweep, Jeff, are over 500 against the Yankees. And they're the only team in baseball that is over 500 against the Yankees. Now, it's a pretty small sample size. They've only played 49 times.
Well, you got to throw in that 03 World Series, too.
Yeah. 25-24 are the Marlins against the Yankees overall, and it's the only team in baseball with a winning record against the mighty New York Yankees.
Well, yeah, that's pretty. Oh, we got a super chat.
Beautiful.
From our buddy Leon. Happy 40th anniversary of Tom Seaver's 300th win.
Wow.
Here's a good question for you. Who was he pitching for when he won that game?
Well, that is a good question.
You want to give the answer, Leon?
Yeah, we'll let Leon see if he's got the answer. I'm sure he does.
I believe I know what the answer is.
Yeah, I'll let Leon see if he wants to weigh in for a second first, and then I'll throw my guess out there.
Yeah, we'll give him a second, but it's not who you expect. How about that?
Yeah, clearly not. Yeah. You wouldn't have asked it,
Right.
So, okay, and Tom Seaver, I mean, what an era. And by the way, teammate of the look at there.
There he is.
Misty's Leon's got it. Yeah. But a former teammate of Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
Tom Seaver.
People forget about those Mets years.
Yeah.
But man, what a pitcher in the 70s. Just rookie year, 67, 2.76 ERA. Yeah, all right. 220, 221, 282, 176, 292. A disappointing 292, it appears. 208, 320, boo.
Yeah.
238, 259, 258, 3, 234, 288, 314.
So he had 3 years in his career that were 3 or above.
Well,
and not much.
That wasn't the whole career. When he got a little older, things got a little sideways on him.
Okay, sideways. Okay.
But my gosh, what a
and I'd love to. I don't even know if that is that Baseball Reference or who has that. If they had games finished in there, but I promise you, he's got more complete. They probably do have a complete game line.
Oh yeah, they have a complete game. Complete games in his career, 231.
231
out of 647 games started.
Yeah. So basically, a little over a third.
Yeah.
A little over a third of his games that he started, he finished. God, that's fantastic. I love old baseball. Huh? Oh,
wow. Ha! Josh Youngblood.
Yeah.
That's going back.
That is going back.
That's a name. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm not mad at that.
Well, and really another, you could argue it's a bigger anniversary. In 2010, that's when the Chuck Greenberg Nolan Ryan group won the bankruptcy. Date?
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah. And they won the auction, $593 million, beat Jimmy Crane and Mark Cuban. And there was euphoria. The club was in Seattle.
Yeah.
You were
was
there?
with him.
I was there.
Yeah.
And they won the game in I think it was extra innings even.
They did. In fact, David Murphy won the game with a walk-off. I think it was a single to left, but it got the winning run home. So I interviewed Murph in what we call the walk-off interview coming off the field, and we get into the clubhouse. And coming from the field to the clubhouse, I had learned about that I had gone through, that the sale was done.
Yeah.
And we go do a whole bunch of post-game about that, and then Murph comes walking into the clubhouse. And he goes, hey, John, I already got you. I said, no, I got something else to ask you. You ain't going to believe this. So, yeah. So, anyway, that's
and that was the day that Twitter became part of all of our lives, or at least because Anthony Andro was in Fort Worth at the courthouse, and he started a Twitter account. And, like, in 2 days, he got, like, a huge, like, thousands and thousands of followers. And I got home from the road trip. And my wife was like, you need to start a Twitter account. It's been downhill ever since.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Why? Yeah.
But so that was 15 years ago today.
Yeah. Man, August 4th, pretty big day.
Doesn't seem like that long ago.
No, pretty big day in Rangers history. On the Saturday, so I guess that would have been August 2nd, the Cubs did a really nice thing. They honored, the late great Ryne Sandberg, and they put a nice Ryne Sandberg flag, number 23 flag up. But then and I'm sure they had to get clearance from MLB for this, and I'm glad MLB did. But what we do on April 15th every year, where everybody wears 42, everybody on the Cubs team wore the number 23.
That's great.
In honor of Ryne Sandberg.
Yeah,
so,
and I saw that they had Rick Sutcliffe,
Jody
Davis, and Sean Dunston. If you watched WGN, those were names that should pop right into your mind. And they came out and put second base in, and looked like Sutcliffe got a little emotional because Sutcliffe is a cancer survivor. Sean Dunston looked awesome, and Jody Davis just a big guy. I didn't realize. I remember him being big, but he and Sutcliffe were like shoulder to shoulder,
neck.
Gummit. And they were showing the at some point over the weekend in Seattle and the MLB Network. They were showing the Ryne Sandberg game, the famous game in '84, where he was a big hero in extra innings against the Cardinals. And I walked in there to the clubhouse, and it was on, and it was just when everybody was showing up, and they were changing. It's never comfortable.
No.
So you're looking at the TV screen, and Jacob deGrom came up and goes, "Are you watching TV? Or are you just going to go in there and watch TV?" And jokingly, of course, I said, "Well, it's either that or watch you guys change."
Yeah.
And I said, it's one of the
classic games in history
in baseball. He's like, I've never heard of it. I was like, Ryne Sandberg, Hall of Famer, and Bruce Sutter was pitching, Lee Smith pitching that game, Hall of Famer, and Whitey Herzog was the Cardinals manager, Hall of Famer. I was trying to educate Jacob to make him appreciate it.
Sure, yeah, you need to.
Yeah.
I mean, these young guys, they don't know some of this stuff. So, and I guess maybe history repeats itself in some ways and ironic ways as we end our show today on a very ironic note. Yesterday, the benches cleared in the Red Sox-Astros game, Jeff.
Oh, really?
Yeah, as the Astros accused the Red Sox of stealing signs. Can you imagine? The Astros accused the Red Sox of cheating. I'll be darned. And
well,
again,
I mean,
the Red Sox would know how to do it, wouldn't they? Their manager was with the Astros when they cheated. So
well, that's if it isn't the consequences of my own actions.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, you better be careful, man. Talk about biting the hand that feeds you. So they, it's funny that they were just indignant, man. They were unhappy about the fact that somebody would dare to do that to them in a Major League Baseball game.
I feel so bad for them.
That's playing against the rules, Jeff. So, yeah.
Well, if you ask those Astros players at the time, they didn't do anything wrong.
No, none of them had nothing. No. There were managers got fired and banned, and
GM.
general managers disappeared from the landscape. But, the players didn't do anything wrong. So there you go. Nice way to end it on an ironic note. The Rangers play the Yankees tonight. They play the Phillies starting, I guess, Friday. So, tough series, tough homestand. They've got Arizona at home after that. But first things first, it's the Yankees and Max Fried tonight. We're back tomorrow when we will talk all about this game and all about the preview of tomorrow night's game, too. It's all then. It's all on the DLLS Rangers podcast. We'll see you then.
We all silly like the mayor.